Good morning, PCA. I'm back with another episode. Today I'm going to show you how to add a power-up into the bee game. So we're going to add some honey pot power-ups. You know, you're collecting flowers, gets you pollen. Boom, honey pots when you get enough pollen. That's my thought. So there is no honey animation, so I'm going to have to attempt to draw one. And I'm not the greatest artist, so let's see how this goes. Let's see, honey pot's kind of like this color, I guess, and we're just gonna use the magical mirror tool, and then there's like a circle for the top of the jar, and then like a thing like this, and some honey like dripping over the edge. I guess I'll get rid of that to make some like honey. Yeah, honey. Alright, and then I'll dump that. No, that's not good. Let's make this a slightly darker color. If art is not my forte. I don't know color theory. I'm not very skilled at this. But, you know, we try. Honey's in there. And then the pot is gonna be, man, I'm struggling. Ah. There we go, something like that. Close enough. And then just to be super clear about it, I'll just write honey. Honey. Boom. Alright, so now we got that. Remember to crop your sprite. Boom, cropped. And I'm going to name this animation honey. Let's see. Now you can see it. And then in the code, remember how to add a sprite. We do var create sprite. And I want 3 possible honey power-ups. So I'm going to make 3 sprites. You could do this with a group, but 3 is like the limit where I'm fine just doing it manually. Honey 1, honey 2, honey 3, and let's set all their animations to be the honey sprite. So honey 2, honey 3. And let's hit run. Okay, so they're all in the middle. We want them like down here. So I'm gonna go X25 and Y360. Let's see how that looks. A little bit more to the right. 30, 30, 40, 40. Alright, so then there's that one, and then I'll put this one at 80, 360, and 120, 360. Alright, so those are our 3 honey pots. I think every 100 pollen, I want to add 1 honey to, so every 100 points, we're going to add 1 honey back to the screen. And this will be an interesting algorithm. There's going to be some tricky stuff we got to do. But first things first is we want to make all of these sprites invisible. So there's this visible attribute under sprites, and we're going to set visible to false on all 3 of them. So honey 2, false, and then honey 3, false. And what we want to do is every 100 points we want to make the honey visible again. So I'm just going to start with another if statement in, I suppose it'll be in gameplay. We'll put it here. So if score is equal to 100, then we want to make it so honey1 dot visible equals true. So now when I press start. Let's see, if I get up to 100 points, then I should have a honey appear. Let's see what happens. 100 points might be a lot, but not too bad. This game's getting a little better. Oh, I died. That's not fun. Just to test it, I'm just going to take 10 points, make sure it works. Boom, 10, I got a honey. Alright, so now we want to be able to use our power-ups. We're probably going to want a variable to keep track of how many honeys we have available to us also. So we're going to make a variable called number of honeys, var num honey equals 0 at the start. And then when we add 1, we're going to add num honey equals num honey plus 1. So when we get 100 points, we have 1 honey, and honey 1 becomes visible. And now the question is, how do we use it? We're going to make it so if you press a key, let's say if you press key went down space, if you press the space bar and you have a honey, so we need to do an and statement first. So if key down space and num honey greater than 0. So if you have a power up available and you press the space bar, then I was thinking like make the bee invisible or at least invincible or at least faster. So how are we going to change the bee's speed? So right now bee movement, it has this 10. We're going to need to be able to change this number, which means once again we need another variable. There's a lot of screaming going on. Hopefully you didn't pick up too much of that, but we'll see. So bee speed starts at 10, and we're going to change this 10 to be the bee speed. So you can see like a lot of coding is about creating variables to store information, then using your user input to manipulate those variables. So right now the bee speed should still be about 10. Yep, and then I'm going to leave this at 10 score to get the first honey pot. And now if I press space and number of honey, what do I want to happen? I want, like for 10 seconds, I want to increase the speed. And 10 seconds is actually kind of challenging to do in GameLab, I just realized. So that might have to wait for the next episode. But for now, we've made it so that when each time you can use a honey, this code's going to need a lot of cleaning up to get perfect, but I'm just going to make it so it works for 1 honey right now in this episode. So honey1.visible is false. So for 1 honey, this should work. So let's see. So if I press, I get 10 points. Boom. And then I press, I died. Let's try again. I get 10 points, and then I press, didn't appear. There it is. Now I press space. Oh, and my bee is ultra fast. That's pretty cool. So maybe that's a power up that lasts for a little while. Maybe I'll come up with a different power up, but that shows you real quick how to add 1 power up, and then next episode I'll show you how to make multiple of these power ups, and we're gonna have to do some slightly difficult logic to figure out like what's the most recent honey we've used, which honeys should be on the screen. We're going to reorganize this code a bit. But the main thing to take out of this lesson was that replace that number 10 with a variable, and then we can change that variable later on to change the bee's speed. So hopefully this game's getting a little more fun. I'll post a link down in the description so you guys can play it and let me know what you're thinking, what we should add, how we should make this game better. See you next time.